Washington Times front page for Tuesday, April 5th, 2022. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. Grisly images showing the slaughter of civilians in Ukraine prompted President Biden to call for a war crimes trial and repeat his accusation that Russian President Vladimir Putin is a war criminal. Jeff Murdoch reports the president added that evidence still needs to be gathered to support prosecutors for a potential war crime trial. Ukrainian officials said the bodies of 410 civilians were found in towns surrounding Kyiv that were recently retaken from Russian forces. Russia has denied the claims that it has killed civilians. In a conversation with our Ben Wolfgang and Guy Taylor, former CIA station chief in Moscow Dan Hoffman implored the Biden administration to send Ukrainians more missiles, drones, fighter jets, and other equipment in their fight against Russian forces. Biden and NATO officials have insisted that alliance members will not commit any ground troops to Ukraine's defense. They've also consistently ruled out any type of no-fly zone over Ukraine, saying such a step would virtually ensure that Russian and Western forces would clash, potentially sparking a world war. The U.S. and NATO allies have rejected that call from Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who's also pleaded for the delivery of fighter jets and other steps to counter the Russian invasion. A Los Angeles judge has tossed a California law mandating that publicly traded corporations include board members who are racial minorities or LGBTQ in response to a lawsuit arguing the measure violated the state constitution's Equal Protection Clause. Valerie Richardson reports Superior Court Judge Terry Green granted summary judgment to Judicial Watch, the group that sued to overturn the law. Assembly Bill 979 required foreign or domestic companies with their main offices in California to name at least one director from underrepresented communities by the end of 2021. Boards with 4 to 9 directors would have been required to have at least 2 such directors by the end of 2022, while boards with 9 or more directors would have needed to have 3 directors from underrepresented communities. A reminder that you can find all these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. Also a reminder that you can find our entire roster of podcasts at WashingtonTimes.com/podcasts. The Pentagon will retire the B-83 bomb, a nuclear gravity bomb capable of blasting deeply buried underground structures, as part of a strategic weapons policy review. Bill Gertz reports the retirement was disclosed to Congress last month as part of the Biden administration's classified nuclear posture review. A senior defense official told Bill the bomb is costly to maintain and of increasingly limited value. A congressional defense aide said the administration doesn't have a plan to replace the B-83. Instead, a study will be conducted in the future to determine how best to get at deeply buried targets. The Department of Homeland Security will deploy teams of immigration and customs enforcement officers into communities to track down illegal immigrants caught and released at the border last year and who have since gone absent without leave. Stephen Dinan reports some fugitive operations teams at ICE, who had been used to go after serious criminals, will be sent after the border jumpers according to a memo detailing the new policy. The targets of the operation were caught by the Border Patrol last year, but were released without being given an immigration court summons and have ignored follow-up attempts to reach them. And finally, the NFL announced last week that all 32 teams must employ a woman or a person of color as an offensive assistant coach, an effort to put diverse candidates in the pipeline for future head coaching positions. Valerie Richardson reports the league's resolution requires the person to have a minimum of 3 years of collegiate or professional coaching experience. The assistant would receive a 1-year contract, and the NFL plans to subsidize the position by reimbursing clubs for up to 50% of the assistant's annual base salary to a maximum of $200,000 this year and $205,000 in 2023. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us on any major podcast platform. Just search Washington Times in your favorite podcast app. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.